government and organizational structure of WIMBIZ has evolved over the years. Today, we have a board of trustees comprising of 12 women and 1 man, a 14-member executive council managing the activities of the organization, and the WIMBIZ management team at the headquarters implements all approved policies and strategic plans of WIMBIZ.
WIMBIZ is a very structured organization.
Even if nobody gives us credit, one thing that I would give us credit for as a group of founders, we created an organization, we saw it work, and by the 10th year, with only I think about 5 or 6 of us, of the founders, having been chairpersons of the organization, we decided that we were done, and we brought in the next generation to start being chairs of the executive council.
We recognize that succeeding generations have to take over.
We started WIMBIZ in our 40s. At the time we were thinking of transitioning, a lot of us were over 50, early 50s, mid 50s. So it was important at that time, not only to me and to the rest of the board, that the time to begin to think of handing over was now, and critical to do so.
We are confident enough to let it go and continue to be a part of what they do.
I mean, there was a time when we were carrying chairs and tables as the founders.
The only way where you can re-engineer an organization, just like you fine-tune the engine of a car, is to keep on bringing in new blood. We don't want to be 70 and be doing, we recognize that each generation has its objectives, has its dreams, has its vision.
We needed a younger crop of women to carry on the legacy of WIMBIZ.
And we would be doing a great disservice to WIMBIZ if we don't bring on those talents to the organization. The core vision remains the same, but the way in which it's achieved may change.
It was an interesting one that we were really proud of to have done. There was no rancor, there were no issues. It was a unanimous decision by the founding members. So we were all happy we did it very, very successfully.
We did the work, but we pulled back when the glory was emerging.
When I handed over to her in November 2013, it just segued from our generation to the next younger generation.
You would be amazed about what these younger ones come up with.
The leadership of Osai created the expansion.
The founders, the 13 of them, for them to hand it over, and be very comfortable to letting it go and saying, okay, so I do what you need to do. I must say I give them kudos for that.
As the Executive Council Chairperson between 2016 and 2017, and even before that, I must say, over the years in my involvement with WIMBIZ, I've had a chance to engage and learn from these extraordinary women.
I sit on a number of boards, and it's really, really good having a network of women who are more experienced than myself, who also sit on various boards.
The Executive Council consists of 14 carefully selected, deeply passionate women who give back every single day through the gifts of their time and their talent.
It was a lot of fun, a lot of work, very challenging.
Having a strong vision that is impactful, that goes beyond yourself, a vision that tries to make the world better in some way.
I learned a lot, first of all, realizing that you can't walk a journey by yourself.
I've learned the power of governance, integrity, accountability, committing to high standards.
The numbers speak for themselves when you talk about the impact the Executive Council has had on the organization.
The expansion was great for us. We could see the intergenerational mix of women.
It has continued to get better.
Our last year's conference had participants and delegates not only from Nigeria, but also from 17 countries around the world. So that's to tell you how much of an impact we're making.
It's not only the fact that the network has grown, but the mindset of women, the feeling to themselves that they can accomplish, they can do.
Her generation attracted a lot of the younger people. Not that we couldn't attract them, but when you see a leader in an organization, you are bound to reflect and attract the kind of women that leadership stands for.
That's also helped me along the way, in terms of my own career moving forward.
If you look at WIMBIZ itself as an organization, it has continued to transform.
We have over 1,000 associates in our pool. We've also impacted more than 200,000 women through our programs and our initiatives. We have more than 17,000 women on our database, And we continue to run programs that are well subscribed, in fact oversubscribed in many cases. And we have a reach across the nation and across the globe.
Every single year, we keep trying to outdo ourselves.
You look at a basket when you walk into WIMBIZ and it's empty. By the time you're done after 2 years of running it, that basket is filled with all sorts of, marbles, different colors. You see red, you see green, you see blue. Sometimes you see black, and sometimes you see colors that might not give you the joy you're looking for. But you see, by the time you mix all the colors in the marble bowl together, it's always so beautiful. And so that's what it is. The beauty comes with the joy of serving. And that for me was what my 2 years was about.
Working so closely with the trustees, I've picked up a number of life lessons that will certainly stay with me.
What I would like to say to the young ones is when you are invited, if you're a part of the WIMBIZ community, do your bit to make it better than it is even today.
Me not being a founding member of WIMBIZ and being handed the opportunity to become the Executive Council Chair, for me it was an opportunity to serve and to change and to impact and to do more.
Right now, we have a very capable team who have keyed into the vision and who are running with it.
And what I pray for the current leadership of WIMBIZ is that they will also be able to do that so that we can continue this organization, improve it, expand its impact beyond Nigeria into Africa and the rest of the world.
But the vision must stay constant. The values must stay constant.
When I started with WIMBIZ in 2005, we initially were using a small office at the Chair Center, and then we moved out of there after a few months into a small shop in Falomo Shopping Complex. WIMBIZ has grown from a small organization with 3 staff on roll to a large organization with almost 20 staff on roll, or more than that.
WIMBIZ is first an organization full of very accomplished and, if I may say, alpha women. And that means that we have a lot of strong personalities within the organization.
You can't be in WIMBIZ and you will operate below capacity. So it was very demanding.
Working with a board of 12 women and 1 man, a powerful board for that matter, it was on its own a huge learning experience.
You cannot, and I say it again, not work with 12 highly skilled and professional women and not imbibe that in you. Integrity also has been one of their core and cardinal goals, and I think it would continue to be with anyone that continues to work at WIMBIZ.
I came away with a very rich experience.
I would advise the future executive directors that before there was a Hansatu, there was a Stella, an Indidi, a Yemisin, an Ini, a Bolaji, and a Mosun, that the past executive secretaries and executive director have laid a strong foundation for the rest of them to build on.
It has impacted my journey immensely because I was opportune to be in the boardrooms, we were having the meetings, and you would see how they were implementing quite a bit of the things that you just were aspiring to be at that time.
Seeing women in various sectors being the best at what they do, it has also given me the opportunity to also see myself to be able to be in that position.
I have had women at the top of their careers mentor me to be a better person.
The WIMBIZ work environment is adaptive.
It's been very engaging.
Meeting people that ordinarily you may not be privileged to meet.
We've had very hands-on, informal and formal mentors put you through the ropes, roll up their sleeves, go down and dirty, just make sure that you get the work done.
There have been some tough moments.
That's pretty much what it's been like for me.
But honestly, that's a great journey.
I look back and look at WIMBIZ because WIMBIZ is what it is, and WIMBIZ is actually what has brought me to the level where I am today.
I would say my biggest wow moment was in 2020 when we had our first virtual conference.
I recall, before I became executive director, I sat at the very first WIMBIZ conference 20 years ago. And while I was sitting there, I was so intrigued by all the women in the hall. I think I had just finished my NYSC then, and I just sat and I looked at the stage. I can't remember who was talking, and I just said, one day, I would want to be on that stage addressing women. And so in 2017, I stood on the podium as executive director and I made a reference to that. So for me, that was just my real wow moment, if I must say, because I could look back to all the years before that and say, wow, It took about 15 years or thereabout, but it actually came.
I'm awed by the younger generation. I am really, really awed by your audacity, your boldness, your ideas. We're looking forward to what you're going to do in WIMBIZ, for WIMBIZ, and for the world at large.